So the UK just announced their new plan for a digital ID, and it's got a lot of opposition against it. There's a petition with already over 2.4 million people have signed it in the last, I don't know, 2 days since it happened. This article was published and posted 11 hours ago at BBC, and there's a lot of controversy around this. So we're gonna watch the announcement of it by Keir Starmer. We're gonna watch the announcement of it for full context, just a quick 4.5 minute video. So we're gonna watch that.
I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes. For too many years, it's been too easy for people to come here, slip into the shadow economy, and remain here illegally. Because, frankly, we've been squeamish about saying things that are clearly true. It's not just that it's not compassionate left-wing politics to rely on labour that exploits foreign workers and undercuts fair wages, but the simple fact that every nation needs to have control over its borders.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, we're being tracked every day anyway, through the use of our mobile phones. I suppose what I think is...
Just keep in mind also that in the UK, if you say something they don't like, they arrest you. And we're going to get to that. So the people that are going to openly support it, obviously they can say whatever they want because, you know, the government agrees with them. But the people that don't support it, one, they're not going to put, in this video, they're not going to put people that are against it because they're pushing it on you. Why would they include the opposition and the problems that everyday citizens already have? Why would they include that in the video? So anybody they show here, I haven't watched this whole video yet. I just watched that first part. Anybody that they show in the video, they chose to include them because they already agree with them. They chose to include them because they're saying what they want them to say. So keep that in mind for the rest of this.
Some people complain about immigration. Some people complain about people complaining about immigration. You know, we all need to do whatever we can to support the government to manage immigration. And identity cards are a way of doing that. It's something people have been calling for a while. And
do you know who has been calling for it for a while? The governments. No, that's kind of creepy on his face. No everyday citizen is calling for it. Maybe like a dozen of them out there that are being told that the government's pushing it, and so they don't want to get arrested. So they're like, yeah, I support it. Like, the only people pushing for it is the governments of the world.
I think it needs to be thought through. I was surprised at the announcement yesterday, which did seem to come out of the blue.
It did.
I think people need to be prepared for this, but I think ultimately it's the right thing to do.
I just don't see the point of not having them because we have ID all the time with, driving licenses, often carry our passports around. So yeah, I don't have a problem with them.
I think there are civil liberty concerns about it. I'm kind of worried about how that will be enforced, what people will be forced to choose. I wonder how effective it will be about actually managing it, and I think in the current climate, I think it puts emphasis on the experience of kind of asylum seekers and immigrants and migrants to this country when often they're just trying to live life and do things and get on like we all are. So I'm not in support of it based on what I've seen so far.
I think in principle it's a good idea. I think the idea of the ID card is in principle a very good idea. I'm hugely concerned about the whole push towards AI and digital because of course, we know that there are dangers with holding an enormous amount of people's information digitally. It gets lost, it gets taken, it gets used. We don't know what happens with it, and I think it comes with a huge number of pitfalls. I think it needs to be looked at very, very carefully, because I think there are huge implications. I think there are particular bonuses to it, but I think there are huge implications ethically as well.
Well, we had them. I had one. I mean, I had one in the 50s. So it didn't cause, I was only a child, obviously, then, but it didn't cause any bother then.
No, I don't agree with anything Starmer does.
Why not?
Because he's no good at his job.
Huh?
Why?
I was only a child, obviously, then, but it didn't cause any bother then.
No, I don't agree with anything Starmer does.
Okay.
Why not?
Because he's no good at his job.
Why are you against the ID
Oh, you're going
cards?
to get arrested soon.
Well, I don't think anything he does is any good.
Probably not the best of ideas, because like with anything digital, everything can be changed. So yeah, it's like you look at the way things get hacked, and
Okay,
it's
so
bad enough
I
you
am
can get fake
surprised.
IDs as it
Like I
is.
said, I didn't watch the whole video. They
with,
are including some
everything online,
critiques about it. They're
it
talking
just-
about
just makes things a bit
concerns
more.
with. They're talking about concerns with it being digital and it could be potentially be stolen, sold, get into the wrong hands if that happens. That is obviously a big concern, but that's the concern that they're gonna tell you, because there's a lot more concerns that we should have. That's not this. This is like number 6 on our list of concerns with this thing. So
Less human.
We'll talk about it a lot more.
Because you don't get the whole thing of like you're interacting with someone. Instead you're interacting with a machine. So
these top kind of data protection companies or like these tech firms can't protect people's data. Who's to say that Westminster can do any better, or Whitehall or whoever it is? Just, you know, it's a bit of a concern and like a bit of an infringement.
Okay, so we watched the whole video. We got the context of it. We got the gist of it. Now, where are the real concerns? Because I said the concerns aren't necessarily the security of the data that it would have when it takes your name, your address, your height, your weight, your ID number that they'll give you. When it has all these things on you, when it has all this information that you give them, which they already have. I mean, most governments already have that. You have your driver's license, your passport, your social security number. I'm not sure the specifics, what they're called in other countries, but they already have that. They already have all the information about you that they need. So when they're going to blame it on immigration, they're going to tell you, oh, we need this to combat illegal immigration because these people, as he said, just slip into our economy. No, that's not at all how it's been happening, because these people, okay, you need a social security number to work. You need your driver's license. You need all this stuff to work. How is enforcing, which these illegals don't have and are still working, so how is enforcing this any different? Both ways you have to show them something, with or without digital ID. You have to show your employer something to be able to work. So if these illegals already weren't showing them their social security, driver's license, all that, they already weren't showing them and they were still working or still getting into the country. So how is enforcing a digital ID going to negate that? How is it going to fix any of that problem? So this is what they're going to blame it on. They're going to say, oh, it's for illegal immigration. Oh, it's to protect you and our economy so they don't steal your jobs. This is for you guys. No, this is for them so they can control what you do, what you don't do, what you can and cannot do, what you can buy, what you cannot buy. They can control all these things. In the UK, they are already controlling what you can say online. 12,000 arrests in 2023 because of social media posts. Are we joking right now? That's in 2023. I just Googled, this is a quick Google search, and it does not show me what it was like in 24 or 25. I don't know where I can find that. I will dig further to hopefully find that. 12,000 arrests. And this, like it says, that is about 33 arrests per day because of what people posted online. In America, our biggest thing that happens whenever we post something that the people don't like online is, oh, we get banned. We get banned on Instagram. We get banned on YouTube. We get banned on all these things. But at least we're not arrested like they are in the UK. I mean, look at Vietnam right now. Shut down millions of bank accounts because they tried to enforce a Face ID software to access it, and the people said no. No, we don't want that. And so what did they do? They shut down 86 million accounts. That is almost half of the accounts that are at risk. They're just, oh, you don't want to play by our rules? There goes your money. Gone. And that's exactly what they're going to do with the digital ID. Because with this, you're going to be able to access your bank account. You're not going to be able to work if you don't have it. You're not going to be able to buy things if you don't have it. And so just like that, it's gone. Because it's getting real. It is getting very, very real. Because, yeah, we could sit here before it's officially everywhere. We could sit here and say, no, we're not going to do it. We don't like it. No, I'll say no. I'll say no. But when it happens, and you're sitting in your house, and they tell you, you need to get this, and you say no, they're going to say, okay. And you're going to sit in your house. Next day's going to come. Next day's going to come. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to go to the store, buy some food. Nope, you cannot buy food. Oh, my kids are starving. My kids are starving. I'm sorry. You don't have that ID. You can't buy this. That's how real this is going to get. When it can control what you can put food on your table for your family, when it can control how you get to your job, much less go to your job and be there and actually make the money, when it can control all these things, that's how real this is going to get. That's how real it's happening in Vietnam. Denmark already has it. A lot of companies or countries already have it. I mean, these are just a few that have it. And it's starting off small. You know, they're going to introduce it, little baby steps, get you used to the idea. And they're going to push that it's for you. We're doing this for you guys. We want to help you. No, get the fuck out of here. When does the government wanted to help you? What has the government done for you? Name me 3 things that the government has genuinely done for you, the citizen. And they're going to say, yeah, immigration, so we can protect your jobs. So what happens when they take all your information and it does get hacked, controlled? I mean, anything can happen on our phones. You know, everything gets hacked. All these softwares get hacked, and that's the people's concern. So they're going to raise up, well, what happens if they take our data? What happens if they hack into the system and do all this stuff? And so what the government's going to tell you to negate that concern, oh, we're going to have our top people on it. It's going to be the most protected thing that we ever have or done. It is going to be the best of the best will be protecting it, and it will. We guarantee you it will be okay. Really? You're going to, as the person that's having to get this, that's the concern you're going to voice? Not, why can't I buy food? Why do I have to have this to buy food? Why do I have to get this to work? Oh, because immigration. No, it's not immigration. That's the issue here. It's not, my job did or didn't get taken by an illegal. That's not the issue here. And so when they're pushing this on you, and they're pushing it on us, we need to say no. Because right now, it's just widely being spread in the UK. It's already a little bit in some other countries. And so when it happens, where's the next place it's going to go? Where's the next place? What's that one country in the world that immigration is such an issue, such a heavily debated topic? That one country who, you know, their president, when he first ran, was pushing that and wanted to build a wall. Wanted to lock down immigration, has been pushing that all his presidency this year. Where's that going to go? It's going to come to America, and then we're going to be forced to get it. And so that way the government can say, okay, this is our next step with defeating immigration. Because that was a big talking point for President Trump, and that is where he gets a lot of his supporters from, is anti-illegal immigration supporters who voted for him. And so President Trump's going to come out and say, look, this is our next step in combating illegal immigration. This is what we're doing. It's the next big thing to do that. Forget the wall. We can have a digital ID on your phone. Really? That's where we're going with this? We're just going to roll over and let it happen? We're going to ask them to put our leash on. and grab us by the collar and say, nope, you can't walk that way. Nope, get back here. We're going to ask them to do that, and we're going to thank them for it. Thank you. Thank you, government, for locking down what I can and can't do. Thank you so much. I love starving. And there's all these things that it's just food and you can't work. It's just this. Buy and sell, what else does that mean? When it comes to America, because it's going to, I give it a year before it's being heavily pushed in America. This came out of the blue in the UK. Caught me off guard. And I keep up with this stuff. Caught me completely off guard. So when it comes to America, think about the things that us Americans have and that can be potentially taken away. So we've already talked about jobs and food. So what about our car? Think about your car. Well, how can they take away your car? You know, it's an engine. They can't take that away. Yeah, they fucking can. Because of the Starlink system in your car. I have it in my car, unfortunately. The little screen, the little computer in your car, turned off. When the power grid shuts down in the next year and a half, 2 years, when that happens, those cars cannot run. Think about all those older cars and trucks and all that in like the 60s to 80s, maybe even 90s, that, you know, it's just an engine. You know, some of them, they got a little bit of a radio in them, kind of, but it's just an engine with the key. The key doesn't have to go through a computer to turn on. Think about all those cars that are destroyed now, broken down, rusted completely away. Because people don't have those cars anymore. Everybody's got, you know, little push the button to turn on the car. Well, when the power's off, when they shut off the power grid, your car won't run. You're stuck where you are. And then when the government magically fixes it, they're going to say, hey, this is how we're going to protect you from that. Now, I was shocked to see this come out originally because I thought that there would be the power grid shutting down, like I said. I thought that would happen first. I thought that would be the first step. And I think that when it comes to America, this is going to be my prediction, right? It's going to do whatever in the UK. It's probably going to be allowed because, you know, they can control what you can and can't say. So when it comes to America and the government tries to push that onto us Americans, when that happens, one of two things is going to happen. One, America is going to say, yes, please, yes, give it to us. We want that. Fuck immigration. We don't want that. We want that. So please give it to us. And then we're just going to go out about our merry little lives. Second option is when it comes to America, we will say no. No. You cannot push this on us. We don't want this. And so what's going to happen? Power's going out. All your lights are off. Your phone doesn't work. Your car won't start. All these things. Power's out. Goes into chaos. All this is happening. And so when it comes back on, the government will be like, oh, something happened. They destroyed our power grid. It was Iran. Or they're going to blame it on something. And they're going to say, we fixed it for you guys. It's okay. You know, you're welcome. We fixed it for you. You're welcome. You need to get these IDs now, though, for your safety. And then it's going to be allowed that way. They're going to make it happen because COVID was the test run. That was the test run when they could say, okay, when people are panicking, when there's a global situation in crisis, how willing are people going to be to take the safety precautions that we push onto them? How willing are they going to be to take this vaccine and to get the necessary paperwork to prove that you got this vaccine? Because a lot of people did it. And they were trying to push in 2020, early 2021, about you can't fly if you don't have the proper documentation proving that you got vaccinated. You can't do this. They tried to push it into the workforce, and it didn't happen, luckily. And so they're like, okay, people are going to fight back on it because the people said no. And then the virus went away, and here we are going about our normal lives again. But they saw how many people took the vaccine. That has killed a lot of people. Lots and lots of people have died because of that. And that was the test run. This is going to be test run number 2. When the power grid shuts off and people are panicking, and then it turns back on. How willing are people going to do? How willing are people going to be to take what the government gives them for safety? Humanity is 3 meals away from chaos. It's a great quote. I don't know who said it, but it is very, very true. I do just want to mention one thing. You can't say the word, but, you know, Prime Minister... Oh, no, not that one. Sorry. Prime Minister of the UK. What is his religion? Really? So, when you tie in this word right here, I can't say it. So when you tie in that to, okay, so what does what is that? And digital ID, this big old cloud of information that they're going to have, what do these two things have in common? Fucking Palantir. Fucking Palantir. It always comes back to that. It always comes back to Palantir. It always comes back to this every single time. Is that a coincidence? You know, they say conspiracy theories keep getting proved right and right and right and right. The digital ID was a conspiracy theory. And they called him crazy. They said, oh, no, that would never happen. Look where we are. Look where we are. And how much more of the Kool-Aid are you going to let them feed you? How much more of the feels good and, you know, oh, everybody's equal and we're pushing happiness. Yes, pump it into your mind. How much of that are you going to take before you sit down and think about what is happening? Before you sit down and really think, something doesn't feel quite right. And when you do that, are you going to either sit there and just be fine with it? Or are you going to say something? Are you going to stand up and say no? Because there's two paths you can take there. So imagine there's two sheep, right? There's two sheep and they're in a big crowd just walking up a hill. So there's two sheep here, right? They're talking, they're buddies. So sheep number two, I'm sorry, says, you know, there's a slaughterhouse at the top of this hill that we're going to, right? And the sheep one's like, no, that's so stupid. No, we're just going to eat more grass up here. You know, it's nice on the other side of the hill. It's going to be nice over there. And sheep two tells him, no, like, I promise there's a slaughterhouse at the top of this hill that we're going to be killed. And so both the sheep are like, okay, we'll see what happens. So they get to the top of the hill and, whoa, there's a slaughterhouse. And sheep two says to sheep one, I told you, there's a slaughterhouse up here. Sheep one was like, damn. And then they die. And then they fucking die. So what does that have to do with anything? Well, when there's the two sheep, so when sheep two is like, hey, they're going to take away our rights. They're going to control all this. And sheep one's like, no, they're not going to do that. And then when it happens, they're in the same boat as if they both thought the same thing originally. You can't know what's going to happen and just let it happen anyway, because that makes you dumber than sheep one. So when you learn what's going to happen, you have to do something. You have to say something. That's what I'm doing right now. This is me doing something because I know what's going to happen. I know what's been happening, and I know all these things that they're pushing and that they want to do to us. And I'm done just sitting here reading about it and saying, man, this sucks. And you should be too. So this is kind of what I wanted to talk about, how everything links together. You know, this really sucks because people are going to let it happen. I'll be genuinely shocked if they don't. Sorry, I had something in my teeth. I'll be genuinely shocked if the people actually stand up and say no. And I am shocked that there's already 2.5 million votes, or what's it called? Have signed the petition to get it to say no. And I want to go back to that real quick for a second. So more than 2.4 million people have already signed the petition against them, and petitions that get more than 100,000 signatures are considered for a debate in Parliament. They're going to talk about it and just say, fuck your signatures. That's what's going to happen. People have to physically refuse it instead of just say, I don't like this. So we'll see. It's only a matter of time before it comes to the U.S. and I just want to stay on this one right here. We're just gonna highlight this to close this out. They control everything. And more stuff's gonna happen, and it's only a matter of time. We're gonna talk about it more as it happens. We're gonna talk about a lot of things as they happen. So wow. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day. Enjoy reading about this on your own, because you should be concerned.